Good morning, students. I hope you are all are good. So today we continue with the first chapter, the portrait of a lady in class plus one. Yesterday we discussed something about the grandmother, grandfather, and the schedule of grandmother with her grandson. And apart from that, their relationship, how did they like each other? And thereafter, there was a turning point in their relationship, like author and grandmother shifted to city from village to be with author's parents. Okay, so that was the turning point, and both of them they shared the one room. And now we continue to the next step. So here in this paragraph, it is told that what kind of subjects the grandson read uh, reads in the city school. So yesterday we stopped over there like this one. When I came back, she would ask me what the teacher had taught me. Okay, so whenever the grandson comes from school, from city school, from an English medium school, the grandmother asks him what he has learned in the school. So here you will find a great difference between grandmother favorite subject or the traditional approach of learning and the modern one. I would tell her English words and little thing of Western science and learning. So, in reply, the grandson tells his grandmother that he has learned some English word, some little things of Western science and learning. So, these are the subjects that he learned at school. The law of gravity in science, Archimedes in mathematics, Archimedes principle, the world being around, etc. So these are the subjects that he learned at school. This made her unhappy. So when she got to know that her grandson is learning all these things, she became unhappy, upset, sad. She could not help me with my lessons because these are the chapters which were beyond her limit. She could not help her grandson in learning lessons. She did not believe in the things they taught at English school and was distressed that there was no teaching about God in the scriptures. Dear students, we know it very well that the grandmother was a religious lady. She believed in God and all kind of religious things related to God and its God and His existence. So she did not like that kind of lesson whatever her grandson used to learn at school. One day I announced that we were being given music lessons. So one day he tells his grandmother that he has given some homework in music. She was very disturbed. To her, music had lived association. Okay, music has some kind of association. It was the monopoly of harlots. Harlot means prostitutes and beggars, and not meant for gentlefolk. Here we come to know music at that time refers to, you can say, the people, those who were considered the lower part or out of the society, like harlots, prostitutes, beggars. Okay, and this music was not a part of gentle folk. Okay, of not of common people. She said nothing, but her silence meant disapproval. She did not reply, but her silence made everything clear that kind of music she does not like. She rarely talked to me after that. After that, she hardly talked to the author or the grandson because she comes to know that what kind of lessons her grandson learns at school. When I went up to university, now he goes for higher studies at university. I was given a room of my own. Now he was living alone, means single. The common link of friendship was snapped. See, dear students, In the beginning of the chapter, both of them they lived in the village, grandmother and grandson. Now there was a turning point in their relationship when both of them they shifted to city. Okay, and lastly, when the boy went out for higher study at the university, at that time their relationship was totally snapped, was totally broken because hardly they talk to each other, hardly they can see each other even. Okay, so gradually the changes come in their relationship. My grandmother accepted her seclusion and loneliness, okay, with resignation by giving up something. Like she rarely left her spinning wheel to talk to anyone. So most of the time, what does she do? She does spinning of the wheel. From sunrise to sunset, she sat by her wheel, spinning and reciting prayers. Two things she does. One, spinning of the wheel and reciting of prayers. Only in the afternoon she relaxed for a while to feed the sparrows. Morning and evening time she does spinning of the wheel and reciting of the prayer, and afternoon time she feeds the sparrows in the city. While she sat in the veranda, breaking in the bread into little bits. She prepared some pieces for the sparrows. Hundreds of little birds collected round her, creating a veritable bedlam of chirping. See, this particular phrase shows us what kind of relationship she has created with sparrows in the city. Whenever she feeds during the afternoon time, the sparrows comes to her and they sit on her head, on her arm, or even on her leg. Some came and paused, sit down on her legs, other on her shoulder, some even sat on her head. See, in the relationship between sparrows and grandmother, she smiled but never shooed them away to leave the place, to give some kind of, you can say, uh, body shine to the bird to leave them away, to flee away. It used to be the happiest half hour of the day for her. So afternoon time was the best time of the day for her when she feeds the sparrows. Then, when I decided to go abroad, now the boy has to go abroad for further studies. Okay, I was sure my grandmother would be upset. He was sure that she will become upset. I would be very away for 5 years. The time period was 5 years, and at her age, one could never tell. She was experienced, she was matured, so nobody want to at this time, at this age, nobody wants to disclose his or her feeling. So likewise same thing happened with the grandmother, but my grandmother could. She was not even sentimental, she was not so emotional, she was so strong by her heart. She came to leave me at the railway station but did not talk or show any emotion. She came at the railway station to see her grandson off, but she did not show any kind of intention that she has become emotional. Her lips moved in a prayer all the time, her usual task, moving of her lips in inaudible prayer. Her mind was lost in prayer. Her fingers were busy telling the beads of rosary. So all things generally she does. Silently she kissed my forehead, and when I left, I cherished the most imprint as perhaps the last sign of physical contact between us. So when the grandmother kisses the forehead of grandson, that was the last physical touch, because after that the boy has to go for further studies at any nation or any other country, in any other country for 5 years. So but that was not so. After 5 years I came back. So when the boy completed his studies, he came back home and was met by her at the station. So she received him at the station. She did not look a day older. After 5 years, the boy could not, you can say, see any changes in her physical life, physical standard. She still had no time for words, and while she was clasped me, okay, Clasped me means to show some kind of you can say uh, physical attachments, to have some embarrassment, to you can say to meet each other. In her arms, I could simply you can say clasp means to hug. I could hear her reciting her prayer. Same thing was going on in her lips. Even on the first day of my arrival, her happiest moments were with her sparrows. Same thing happened during afternoon time. She feeds the sparrows. This was the most important moment for her, and she fed longer and with frivolous rebukes. Okay, so with good kind of feeling, she feeds that sparrows on that day because she was happy that after 5 years the grandson has come back. In the evening, a change came over her. By the evening, there was a change. She did not pray. On that day, what did she not do? Prayer. Even throughout her life, there was not a single evening or day, you can say, when she did not pray. But on that evening, she did not feel good and she did not pray. She collected the women in the neighborhood, got an old drum, and started to sing. So there was a lady Sangeet, you can say. For several hours, she thumped the sagging skin of dilapidated drum. Means the loose skin of drum. Okay, in a very you can say dilapidated means in a very loose fitting skin of that drum, or the in bad condition you can say, and sang the homecoming of the warriors. So some kind of songs were there. We had to persuade her to stop to avoid overstraining. So the boy was taking care of her. That was the first time since I had known her that she did not pray, and on that evening she did not pray. The next morning she was taken ill. It was mild fever, and the doctor told us that it would go. So when the medical checkup was done, so doctor declared that she had mild fever and within some time she will be fine. But my grandmother thought differently. But somehow her mind and heart got some message, and she told something different. She told us that her end was near, that her death is so near. She said that since only a few hours before the close of the last chapter of her life, means the very last moment, she had omitted to pray. She did not pray, and she was not going to waste any more time talking to us. She wants loneliness at that time. She does not want to talk to anybody or any member of the family, and she wants loneliness. We protested, but she ignored our protest. All the members of the family, they told us, okay, we will be with you, but you can say she protested. She ignored that I do not want anyone. Please leave me alone. Like that, she spoke. She lay peacefully in bed, praying and telling her beads. Same thing she does. She lied down comfortably on the bed and reciting her prayers with bits of rosary. Even before we could suspect, her lips stopped moving. Suddenly, what they observed, her lips stopped moving, and the rosary fell down from her lifeless fingers. And the rosary fell down on the ground. It means what? She was dead. A peaceful paleness, yellow color, spread on her face, and we knew that she was dead. And suddenly, her face became yellow, and she was no more. So this is the death of grandmother. Here we came to know. So after that, what happens? Let's see, dear students. We lifted her off the bed. Means grandmother was taken from the bed to the ground as per custom, laid her on the ground and covered her with the red shroud. Red shroud means that we use for the dead bodies of female, and white shroud we use for male dead bodies. Generally, it is in our custom of Hindus. After a few hours of mourning, we left her alone to make arrangement for her funeral, for her last moment. Means that is दाह संस्कार इसको हम बोलते हैं. In the evening, we went to her room with a crude stretcher to take her to the cremated, to take her to the burned. Okay, the sun was setting and had lit her room and veranda with the blaze of golden lights. It was a time of sun setting, and the room was full with golden light. We stopped halfway in the courtyard, all over the veranda, and in her room, right up to where she lay dead and stiff wrapped in the red shroud. Thousands of sparrows sat scattered on the floor. When her dead body was wrapped in the red shroud, then thousands of sparrows came scattered on the floor. They sat on the floor. There was no chirping, and all the sparrows they did not make any chirp. We felt sorry for the birds, means grandfather and grandmother. Death was there, and grandson felt sorry. We means all the member of grandson family, like parents also. And my mother fetched some bread for them, and the mother of grandson brought some pieces of bread. She broke it into little crumbs, into small pieces, the way my grandmother used to, in the same way that the grandmother used to do in her, and threw it to them. The sparrows took no notice. The sparrow did not notice of the bread. When we carried my grandmother corpse, means dead body off, they flew away quietly. Means the sparrow they came, they sat on the floor, they did not eat the pieces of bread thrown by the mother of grandson, and when the dead body was taken away, the sparrows flew away. Next morning, the sweeper swept the bread crumbs into the dustbin. And next morning, the sweeper comes and cleans all the pieces of bread and threw them in the dustbin. So this is the happening after her death. Okay, dear students. So likewise, we have completed the reading of the chapter, and I just suggest you to just go through the chapter once again, read the text, and find out the answer of this one questions. Thank you. Have a good day.